If he shuts down completely after a fight, goes silent, ignores your calls, gives you the cold shoulder for hours or even days, and you're left pacing your apartment, replaying every word, wondering what you did wrong, stop. That's not just needing space. That's not bad communication. That's emotional abuse. And if you've been blaming yourself this whole time, I need you to hear this. It's not your fault, but it is a pattern. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact signs that silence after a fight isn't just a personality thing. It's control. You'll understand the psychology behind why he does it, how it rewires your brain to seek his approval, and most importantly, what to do instead. No more guessing. No more walking on eggshells. You'll finally have clarity on whether this man is safe for you emotionally, or if it's time to walk away for good. Hey, I'm Julian, and I've spent the last 8 years coaching women through the messy, painful, and often confusing parts of relationships. I've sat across from hundreds of women who came to me saying, I don't know if I'm overreacting, or maybe I just need to give him more time. And time again, the same story comes up. After a disagreement, he goes silent, and she waits and pleads and apologizes, even when she didn't do anything wrong. So today, I'm breaking the silence on silence. Because what many women mistake for emotional unavailability, or just how he copes, is actually a manipulative tactic designed to make you feel small, anxious, and desperate for his return. And it has a name: stonewalling. And when it happens after conflict, consistently, it's not just unhealthy, it's emotionally abusive. Let's start with what stonewalling actually is. Stonewalling is when one partner completely withdraws from communication during or after a conflict. No eye contact, no words, no response. They might leave the room, turn their back, pick up their phone, or just sit there like a statue while you're trying to talk, cry, or explain yourself. It's not about taking a breather. It's not about self-regulation. It's about punishment. It's about power. And when it becomes a pattern, especially after every argument, it's a red flag so big you can't afford to ignore it. Think about it. After a fight, instead of working with you to resolve things, he shuts down. And suddenly, you become the one chasing, apologizing, soothing, and begging for connection. That's not love. That's control. I had a client named Jess who came to me after 2 years with her boyfriend. She said, every time we argue, he just stops talking. For days. I'll text him, "Are you okay?" And he won't reply. I'll show up at his place, and he'll let me in, but won't look at me. Then out of nowhere, he'll act like nothing happened. And I end up saying sorry, even when he started the fight. Jess thought she was too emotional or needy for wanting to talk things through. But here's the truth. Wanting resolution after a conflict is not needy. It's human. And the fact that he used silence as a weapon, that's not a communication style. That's emotional abuse. Now, let's talk about why this works. Psychologically, when someone you love suddenly cuts off all connection, your brain goes into survival mode. Literally. You're not being dramatic. Your nervous system is screaming, danger, threat to attachment. Because humans are wired to stay connected, especially with romantic partners. When that connection is yanked away without explanation, your brain interprets it as a threat to your safety. You start obsessing. You replay the fight. You wonder if you went too far. You blame yourself. And eventually, you cave. You apologize. You soothe. You do whatever it takes to get him to speak again. And what happens? He gets rewarded for his silence. He learns that if he shuts down, you'll come crawling back. So the next time there's conflict, he does it again, and the cycle deepens. This is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's one of the most powerful psychological tools for creating addiction. Think of a slot machine. You don't win every time, but the occasional payout keeps you pulling the lever. In relationships, the payout is his return. When he finally speaks, smiles, or acts loving again. And after days of silence, that moment feels amazing. You feel relieved, happy, like everything's fixed, but it's not fixed. It's just reset. And the next time you disagree, he pulls the same move. And because your brain remembers how good it felt when he came back, you're more likely to tolerate it. That's how emotional abuse becomes normalized. And here's what makes stonewalling so dangerous. It's subtle. It doesn't look like yelling or name-calling. It looks like calm. It looks like indifference. And that makes it easy to gaslight yourself. You start thinking, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I just need to give him space. Maybe if I just stop bringing up hard topics, we'll get along better. But here's the truth. Healthy people don't use silence as a weapon. They might need a break to cool down, but they tell you. They say, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need 30 minutes to breathe, and then I want to come back and talk. And they do come back. They don't leave you in limbo for days. They don't make you earn their attention. That's the difference. Taking space with communication versus using silence as punishment. Now, let's talk about the 4 behaviors that often come with stonewalling. What psychologist John Gottman calls the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in relationships. The first is criticism, attacking your character instead of addressing a behavior. The second is contempt, eye-rolling, sarcasm, mocking. The third is defensiveness, refusing to take accountability. And the fourth, stonewalling. And here's what Gottman found after decades of research. When stonewalling shows up regularly in a relationship, it's one of the strongest predictors of divorce. Not because the couple argues, but because one partner has completely checked out emotionally, and the other is left trying to wake them up. But here's what most women don't realize. Stonewalling isn't about emotions. It's about control. A man who truly struggles with emotional regulation might walk away, but he'll return. He'll say, I was flooded. I didn't want to say something I'd regret. But the emotionally abusive stonewaller, he enjoys the power. He likes knowing you're worried. He likes that you're the one texting first. He likes that you're the one apologizing, because it proves he's in charge. And the longer this goes on, the more your self-worth erodes. You start believing you're the problem. You start censoring yourself. You stop speaking up about your needs. And that's not a relationship. That's emotional imprisonment. Let me tell you about another client, Lena. She was in a long-term relationship with a man who would shut down after every argument. He'd go silent for days, sometimes even leaving the house without telling her where he was. She'd text, call, even drive to his job just to make sure he was okay. One time, after a fight about meeting her friends, he disappeared for 4 days. When he finally came back, he said, "You're always choosing them over me," as if he hadn't just vanished. Lena said, "I felt like I was going crazy. I kept thinking, Maybe I am a bad girlfriend. But here's what she didn't realize. His silence wasn't about the fight. It was about control. By disappearing, he made her feel guilty for having a life outside of him. He made her feel like she had to earn his presence. And that's manipulation. Plain and simple. Now, here's the hard truth. You cannot fix stonewalling by trying harder. You cannot love someone out of emotional abuse. If he's using silence as a tool to punish you, no amount of patience, understanding, or compromise will change that. Because the goal isn't resolution, it's dominance. And the only way to break the cycle is to change your response. Not by chasing, not by pleading, but by setting a boundary and sticking to it. So here's what I told Lena. Next time he stonewalls, don't text, don't call, don't show up. Wait 48 hours. And if he hasn't reached out by then, send one message. I care about us, but I won't accept being shut out after disagreements. If we're going to work through things, we both need to stay engaged. Let me know when you're ready to talk, calmly and respectfully. Then stop. No follow-ups. No checking in. Nothing. She was terrified. She said, "What if he never comes back?" I said, "Then you have your answer." And guess what happened? He came back in 3 days, but not to apologize, not to talk. He showed up at her door with flowers and said, "Why didn't you reach out?" That's the entitlement of the abuser. They expect you to carry the emotional labor, even when they're the ones who walked away. But Lena held her ground. She said, "I reached out before. Now it's your turn." And for the first time, he had to feel the discomfort of his absence. That's how change begins. Not by fixing him, but by refusing to participate in the game. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but what if he just doesn't know how to handle conflict? Look, everyone has room to grow. But there's a difference between someone who's learning and someone who's harming you. If he's willing to go to therapy, read books, or work on communication skills, that's one thing. But if he refuses to acknowledge the impact of his silence, if he blames you for pushing him away, if he only engages when he wants to, that's not a work in progress. That's a red flag. And here's another truth. Stonewalling often comes with other forms of emotional abuse, like love bombing, where he showers you with affection after the silence, making you feel guilty for being upset, or gaslighting, where he says, "You're too sensitive," or "I didn't ignore you, you're imagining things," or guilt tripping. "After all I do for you, this is how you treat me." These are all tactics to keep you confused, small, and dependent on his approval. And the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to leave. So how do you know if it's abuse or just a rough patch? Ask yourself, does he consistently shut down after conflict? Does he refuse to talk about it afterward? Do you feel anxious, small, or guilty after he goes silent? Do you find yourself apologizing just to get him to speak again? Has he ever taken responsibility for how his silence affects you? If you answered yes to most of these, this isn't a communication issue. This is emotional abuse, and you deserve better. Now, let's talk about what to do. First, stop chasing. Every time you text first, apologize first, or try to fix it, you're reinforcing the cycle. You're teaching him that he can withdraw, and you'll do the emotional labor to bring him back. Break the pattern. Let him feel the weight of his absence. Second, name it. In a calm moment, not during a fight, say something like, When you shut down after we argue, it feels like punishment. It makes me feel disconnected and anxious. I need us to be able to talk through things, even when it's hard. Can we work on staying engaged with each other? If he gets defensive, minimizes it, or blames you, that's your answer. Third, set a boundary. I won't stay in a relationship where I'm shut out after disagreements. If you need space, tell me. But disappearing for days isn't okay with me. Then stick to it. No exceptions. And fourth, prioritize your peace. Ask yourself, does this relationship make me feel safe, respected, and valued? Or does it make me feel anxious, small, and uncertain? Because love should not feel like walking on eggshells. Love should not require you to shrink yourself to keep the peace. I want to be crystal clear. Wanting to be heard, respected, and emotionally safe in a relationship is not needy. It's not dramatic. It's not too much. It's basic. And if a man can't meet you there, he doesn't deserve to be in your life. I've had women write to me saying, "But I love him." I know. And I'm not here to tell you to leave. I'm here to tell you to see. Because once you recognize stonewalling for what it is, a form of control, you can't go back to pretending it's just how he is. You have the right to a partner who stays emotionally present, who works with you, not against you. And if you're watching this and realizing, oh my God, this is my relationship, I see you, I believe you, and I'm so proud of you for seeking the truth. Because awareness is the first step to freedom. So here's your call to action. Pause the chase. Next time he goes silent, don't reach out. Let him feel the impact. Name the behavior. Have a calm conversation about how his silence affects you. Set a boundary. Say clearly, I won't accept being shut out. Observe his response. Does he take responsibility? Or does he deflect, blame, or disappear again? Protect your peace. If he won't change, ask yourself, how much longer are you willing to live like this? You are not broken. You are not too much. You are someone who deserves a love that's safe, consistent, and kind. And if that's not what you're getting, it's not your job to fix it. It's your job to walk away. If this video helped you, I need you to do 3 things. First, hit subscribe, because we're going to keep breaking down the hidden patterns of emotional abuse so you never have to guess again. Second, comment, I deserve better, below, because saying it out loud starts to make it true. And third, share this with a friend who's been making excuses for someone who shuts them out. She might not realize she's being abused until someone like you shows her the truth. You are not alone. You are not crazy. And you are so worthy of a love that doesn't make you beg for attention. I'll see you in the next video.